guess the last horror movie I saw was The Fly, which like is really good. That's not news to anyone, but like
Jeff Goldblum, gotta love him.
Yeah, no, I need to understand where sexy Jeff Goldblum comes from, and it's like, oh, it's that movie because he's like fucking ripped.
Yeah,
He's a silver fox.
he's
now.
also come back around too.
Oh yeah, no, like I read it was like an article in GQ about like how hot Jeff Goldblum is.
I read that article.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd fuck him.
Right? And then I saw The Fly. I'm like, oh yeah, he could get it.
I've seen a lot of like pinup shots of him and Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
They're both very attractive older men.
I've learned how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go back all the way to Jurassic Park, there are some scenes where he's wounded and he's just full on lounging around, waiting for the dinosaurs to get him. It's a pretty good look.
And he's like, "Oh, don't come get me, dinosaurs."
He was the first sexy scientist. If you go back to Independence Day, there was not a scientist who
that was sexy.
Yeah, all nerds were just like bumbling fools who like could not do anything, and then like the hero who had like never touched a computer would step in there and then press the button and then solve the nerds' problems.
Technically, Alan was introduced in that movie before Malcolm, or was his? Yeah, it was Malcolm Reynolds before he was. In Jurassic Park.
Malcolm Reynolds, isn't that
You mean
Firefly?
Oh no, you're right.
Are you thinking of Nathan Fillion?
No, what was the name
I know that the guy from
Malcolm
Event Horizon.
Gladwell.
The guy from Event Horizon.
He was like Chaos Theory, and then he decided I'm going to make popular books instead.
No, I'm trying to remember. Ian Malcolm, that's it.
Ian Malcolm.
Yeah.
Technically, Sattler and Alan were introduced before Malcolm's, and they were both pretty sexy.
That's true. Laura Dern.
And they were both doctors.
Laura Dern in the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
She's got purple hair.
Repping that purple hair.
Yeah. These SJWs ruining my films.
Mm-hmm.
Also wearing like a stunning dress.
Pretty good.
Yeah, she was
a lot of
pretty
people wearing a lot of like really impressive clothing in there that I'll get to. But we should open up this podcast first. Hey, didn't see you there. This is our podcast, Super Hopped Up, a podcast about talking about, I guess, video games sometimes when we feel like it. I'm your host, Chris Norris-Jones. Sitting on a wicker chair is one Mr. Michael Parker.
Makes my legs feel nice and smooth.
Talk more into the microphone. Sitting in a nice leather couch is one Mr. Kelly, Wright.
I did actually see you there. I'm sorry.
Oh, and sitting on another leather couch is one Mr. Matthew Emery.
How can you see when you have no eyes?
When was the last time you watched Event Horizon?
It was a while ago. I remember watching it at the time when I was like stupid as fuck and still going like, this movie kind of sucks.
Oh, I watched it for the first time when I was 19, and it spoke to 19-year-old me. I tried
first third of Event Horizon. I will not talk shit about.
Shit bangs.
Yeah, but everything after the eye stuff.
But I mean, like, okay, because the thing is, I tried to force Kat to watch it like a few months back, and like we didn't get past the first third, and she was like, "I want this to stop."
Fair enough.
I've never seen it. Is it basically just a spaceship like drives into Cthulhu?
Yeah, it drives into hell, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to. They try to open a wormhole to travel ships faster, and then they open the wormhole to the wrong place.
So it's Doom.
Kind of?
Doom.
Yeah, actually, pretty much.
Okay.
Oh man! So fun fact about Doom is that that's when like I saw that on, I think it's on it was on like one of like the Netflix clone apps that I was scrolling through, and he's Dwayne Johnson is still billed as just not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, not Dwayne, just The Rock.
Yeah,
and like the title for that, they obviously haven't updated the like the description of that movie in like the 15 years since it's come up, because it's like a group of space people, blah, 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 do a thing led by The Rock.
Nice.
And it's just like, that's the anchor. It's got The Rock.
I feel like that was still around the time when WWE was making movies.
Yeah.
And even though it wasn't
they still make them.
Do they?
Yeah.
They're all just like, they're
There's
just like direct to video.
Marine 5 and shit.
Marine 5? Oh shit, I need to go. Is John
No, he does real stuff now.
No, now it's like Seamus.
Yeah.
I imagine because
he can't be an American soldier. He's Irish.
I imagine because WWE has their own distribution thing now, they could almost put those films straight out on that without having to go through anything else.
WWE films.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like, because they've got, like, WWE Network or, like, whatever thing you can pay $5 a month to get all the WWE content. They can do their own wrestling Netflix.
And see MC Punk give you grammar lessons.
Well, CM Punk's out, I think.
So were WWE, did they do the Scorpion King?
No.
That was his breakout.
They did do the Condemned, though, with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is a hell of a movie.
Speaking of eyes, too, they also did that one where Kane pulls people's eyes out.
Oh, what was that one?
I See No Evil. That was it.
Oh man!
And then I think they did See No Evil too.
Right.
When
he's just a dude in a house that takes people's eyes.
I mean, everyone's got to have a hobby.
Jeepers Creepers.
Something like that.
Jeepers Creepers is also
But it had
bad.
Kane after he took his face off.
Yeah.
And he looked like an egg.
So is this going to be a movie episode? Is that what we're going to do?
I guess so.
I guess we kind of have to because that's what the topic is.
We got a couple games coming out in the next couple months, but until then we've got
I can talk a bit about Andromeda, which is like loosely connected to the topic we're going to be talking about.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Pass on the Andromeda talk.
Yeah.
Are you really enjoying it? Are you really not enjoying it? Is there any extremity to this?
There is extremity to it.
How much do you hate the
as
menu?
opposed to Dave, who was like, yeah, it's actually a decent game. I've got some words for it. Having come off of testing the third one, I feel like I can speak to some degree of professionalism about how terrible Andromeda is. I mean, how unbiased Andromeda is. But I'll do it after we talk about Jedi, because we should talk about Jedi first.
Yeah. Okay, should we talk about the beer before we do anything else?
Mike, beer?
Yeah, let me just...
Mike, it's you. You brought the beer.
Yeah, so
Did you do your research about the beer that you bought?
Well, it is a local brew, actually. It's actually from the Central City Brewery, which they have a brewery just a few blocks away from where we're recording. Is this the last episode that we were going to record?
This might be the second one in
the second last?
In Bro Tower, yeah. We'll
is that
figure
its name?
That was it. That was like the bad name that like my old roommate and I like came up with back in 2012.
We just like facetiously did it one day and then it stuck, and then here we are like 5 years later. Like
the
almost
Fart Bubble is its proper name.
Yeah, that's its Christian name.
Yeah.
Okay, our next episode should be naming the new place.
So this is Central City Brewing Super Solar IPA, which gets its juice from Mosaic and Citra hops. So it's basically just an IPA with a bit of a citrus twist due to the hops that they put in.
Yeah,
And
no, it tastes like an IPA. It's got that.
It's sour. It's bitter. It's a 60 IBU, so that's like it's not like the most bitter beer you'll have, but it's getting up there.
I spilled a little bit, and I definitely can smell the citrus.
It goes down smooth. It's actually like really good. I was really surprised.
No, I don't know Central City, because like they're kind of more they're like what widely known one is the Red Racer series, which is just like it's like kind of meat like low medium and
it's
beer.
above a Pabst, but maybe not too many steps above a Pabst.
Yeah.
It could compete with like a Coors Banquet.
It's got a really nice like pale caramel color too. If you look through it,
foamy as hell when it pour. I mean, I don't know if it's just the tap, because the guy who was pouring it was like, I don't know what's going on, but like it took him about like 10 minutes to pour this growler. Just like it foamed like hell, and he finally got like enough actual liquid to.
They probably just newly tapped the keg or something.
It's 2018. It's cursed. Too much pressure in this year.
Yeah, I like this. It's got like very low burn, like it's not very carbonated, which I generally like a bit more of a burn on a beer, but this is pretty good for what it is. It's bitter as all hell, but surprisingly smooth, as one Mr. Matthew Emery said. And you can really taste kind of like the fruity undertones to it.
I can't taste beer under 50 IBU anymore. This is what I need to feel alive.
It'd be a good starting off beer, I think. Like I definitely would not be able to end the night drinking this, but like, hey, we're gonna go out drinking.
Well, the end of the night is like.
I thought you meant like this is the good first beer to ever drink.
Oh no, definitely. This is like IPAs. I think are always the kind of shit piss beer that you think beer tastes like when you're a kid.
It's what you give to someone when you don't want them to like beer if they haven't had beer before.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure my dad gave me an IPA when I was 8, and I was like, this is disgusting. Beer tastes awful.
Yep.
Can I tell you about my New Year's?
Yeah, of course. Please go on.
I just had like a flashback.
Was there a lot of beer involved?
Yeah. So I was hanging out at a friend's place. One of the co-hosts of Alberta Podcast, which I'm pimping on the show.
Shout out to Alberta Podcast.
Alberta Podcast.
We're gonna try to get one or both of them on this stupid thing at some point in time.
Woo!
Anyway, so we were there, and the theme was karaoke and Showgirls.
The movie
Showgirls.
Nice.
Both good.
Yeah. So I had eaten an edible, and
also
then,
good.
Like an M&M.
Yeah.
Like
wait, edibles? That's illegal in Alberta.
Yeah.
You go. Trap is sprung. You're going to prison now.
Yeah. You guys got me.
Haha.
So I had eaten an edible, and then someone brought a case of Colt 45. A case of like of 40s of Colt 45.
Some things never change.
Some things never change. So much so that I spent most of the evening on the couch drinking like a 40, like high as balls, watching Showgirls on silent and listening to Gucci Mane, and it was like the perfect encapsulation of what this year is to me.
I imagine Showgirls play Taguchi Mane is like one of those like Pink Floyd's The Wall type things where it just syncs up beautifully.
You're thinking of Dark Side of the Moon.
That's the one. Thank you.
And Wizard of Oz.
I feel like if that was an indie movie, it would be just like a 15-minute scene of the camera starting at one side of the room and then just slowly zooming in on you after over 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I karaoke'd a bunch of trap music. So, still the worst.
You still own the crown.
Yeah.
This is true.
So, that's how I spent my New Year's.
Anyone got any dumb thing they want to bring up before we get to the topic du jour?
That's French.
Yes.
I went to Montreal. That was it. I think I mentioned that before. Actually, the reason I said starting off beer is because I made the mistake in Montreal of trying to end a night with an IPA. That was terrible. I remember like sitting there with like half the glass finished, and I was like, I can't do. Why did I do this?
Now the finished night beer is like when your buddy shows up at like right as the liquor stores had just closed, and he's got like a 24-pack of just Pilsner.
Yeah, something light and childlike.
Someone comes in with a 12-pack Coors Banquet. That man is the life of the party right there. Yeah, no, any IPA after the first one's a trash beer in my mind.
Basically.
It just burns through your tongue. Do you guys want to talk about Star Wars?
No, not really.
But I think this is what we're doing today.
Hey guys, I mean, I've been on the internet for a little while the past couple of weeks, and one thing I have not noticed nearly enough of are 4 white dudes sitting in a room together talking about Star Wars. So we need to change that right now. The 4 of us coming together to talk about how we feel about Star Wars.
We've got thoughts on a thing that we think is important.
My opinions are as valid as the next man's.
I 100% do not think this movie is important, but I liked it. Like,
I mean, it's a Star Wars.
Like the whole of my opinion about this movie was, it was good.
Well, I mean, like, I would agree with you in the fact that, like, by any sense of importance in sort of like a cultural milieu, it's not important at all. But just because,
no, culturally, I think it's important.
Well, that's what I'm trying to see is like by the fact that it is a numbered Star Wars, it's given importance on that. It inherits importance based on the name alone.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, I really liked it.
I think it's probably in my top 3 Star Wars. It might be. It's Empire Strikes Back, still number 1. New Hope, still number 2. And maybe either Return of the Jedi or Last Jedi, kind of dangling for 3rd.
Last Jedi is better than Return of the Jedi? Let's do a quick poll. Ewoks or Porgs? I mean, it's Porgs, hands down.
They're both terrible, but
one's cuter than the other one. Actually like joined the rebellion and helped, so...
Yeah, see, I don't like that.
I mean, you just want the cute thing to stay cute.
I mean, whatever, man. All right, those Ewoks, that gave people jobs, okay? People were in those Ewok costumes. Porgs, those were just...
Who do you think had to animate them?
One dude.
The Porgs gave puffins most jobs. Likely.
True.
The story about the pugs is adorable. The fact that they couldn't get rid of the puffins on the island, so they just modeled a cute animal on top of them.
Yeah.
Is that the actual story?
Yeah. The island, Loch Lane or whatever the hell it's called, had a protected puffin species. I know it's not that.
That's adorable.
Yeah,
no, I wasn't going to correct you. I think that's just great.
Yeah. I mean, it's also probably because Disney wanted to sell Porg plushies, but on the other hand, the adorable puffins flying around Luke is a great image.
Yeah, and it was really cool how he like jerked off the weird cum monster.
Yeah.
It might not have been jerked off. It might have been just milked off.
Yeah, either way.
So
whatever, I'm happy.
My favorite part about that was just like seeing the big like snot monster's face just turn to Ray and go, "It's a living."
Basically,
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Dave, who can't be here tonight, because we saw it. I saw it in Montreal. But the worst way to watch a movie, I think, is with a 3-year-old sitting behind you, constantly asking questions throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
While his mom is saying, "Please shut up. You're making everyone uncomfortable. You are ruining this for everyone," instead of taking him out of the theater. So Dave and I saw it again last weekend, and the first thing he said was, "I don't think I can milk anything that sits upright."
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, that's just cowardice talking.
Dude, like sometimes cats sit like that.
Do you milk?
I'm not saying like I would milk a cat, but like I've seen
he's
cats.
got a point.
Yeah.
Matt and I know from experience you can milk a cat.
Yeah, there's more than one way to milk a cat. Is what I've heard.
That's what the folks say.
Yeah.
Do we start by talking about what happens in that film?
I think everyone has already seen this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just say spoiler just to be.
Yeah, I mean, like de facto. Hey, spoilers. If you haven't seen
spoiler, he drinks the cum.
It's not cum, it's green milk.
He looks accusingly at Ray as he drinks the cum milk.
Isn't the milk
That's like my favorite shot in the whole goddamn movie.
It's like,
Isn't the milk on Tatooine is blue, isn't it? Like that.
That's the moisture that they harvest with the moisture vapor or with the moisture farms.
I don't think you actually know that, Mike.
That is the split, and I think that might be why you did not like it as much as we did.
What?
So yeah, that's how we start this. Okay, I think Kelly, Matt, and we all generally enjoyed the dumb film made for children. Mike, you did not seem to appreciate the dumb film made for children.
I appreciated some of the dumb childlike things in it. Okay, I will tell you. Okay, I'm gonna preface my entire dislike of it not based on anything plot related. And I will also preface by saying that I do not. You guys know that I do not know anything involved in filmmaking whatsoever. So do not take my opinion as me trying to tell you what makes good film or what makes good story. This is just what
the man knows what he likes.
This is just what I observed, and I don't know, my it is my opinion, and I don't say that I am right or wrong, whatever. So the problem that movie had, there are three major things that I really didn't like. The only one is kind of plot related. Okay, so we're gonna go launch into full on spoiler territory at this point.
So
I thought the movie actually the first hour and a half of it, and here you the first hour and a half. That's kind of always a big red flag in my mark. If a movie has a first hour and a half, we're getting into.
Yeah, who do you think you are, Lawrence of Arabia?
What's the scene that marks the hour and a half point for you?
For me, it was when Kylo Ren and I guess Ben, he's now just Ben. Ben and Rey kind of joined forces and had probably one of the coolest shot fights in that entire franchise.
That was around the 2 hour.
Yeah, that was
point.
that was 220 maybe.
Yeah. Are we gonna split hairs here?
Yes, in fact.
I know Norris is already he's already in split hair mode.
Well, actually, when the stormtrooper hits the second rib twice.
All right, fine. Okay, so
after the fight or before the fight?
Okay, no, we're talking after the fight.
Okay, then you just check out.
The whole tension building thing. Basically, so how they ultimately avoided having every single one of them died was they pulled one of the more egregious Deus Ex Machinas that I have seen in a film, where the lady, I don't know the actress's name, who played, I guess, the new rebellion commander, who
Laura Dern.
For no reason whatsoever hated Oscar Isaac's character.
He's a flyboy, and she doesn't hate him. She actually likes him.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter because she dies.
He's just a hothead, and he needs to be brought down. He needs to be cooled off.
It doesn't matter.
They were gonna fuck.
It does not matter because she dies, because she flies her cruiser at warp speed into the bad guy's fleet, decimating the entire thing, and essentially kind of like downplaying the significance of every climactic battle that has happened in the series.
No, see, I like that fact, because that's one of those light bulb moments that the entire rebellion has realized. That's just, oh wait, if we just get a couple dozen ships that have light speed, we can just full on suicide bomb the entire empire, and we'll probably get back on the good graces.
This was my dad's criticism of Rogue One. Was it glorified terrorism?
So I actually that already tells that already tells me the fact that you weren't really paying attention to a lot of the stuff, because the idea of
go straight to accusing,
because the idea of crashing a ship into another ship that can destroy your ship pretty easily was established throughout the entire movie. The idea that their shields were in the back, the shuttles that were going off to the other planet were distracting them, and they thought that the warp speed was just a dust storm to distract them, is the only reason that she managed to pull off that maneuver. Otherwise, it would have just been the same way that you can destroy kamikaze pilots pretty easily if you know who you're going to shoot to.
And I say as in I'm about to pull out a thing that doesn't actually exist but has been firmly established in science fiction lore. You know that light speed travel does not actually involve flinging your ship at breakneck speed. It involves opening a hole in space and essentially bending space-time to get you there.
I mean, the DeLorean always had to go up to a certain speed. Maybe the same principle applies. I don't know. I don't actually know the science behind warp speed, but I imagine that
there is none.
There's a bit of tail.
So this conversation, many that we've had, and this is going to continue.
There's parsecs. I know those exist.
Yeah, they're not the same thing as the way that they're used in the movie.
Right, let's move on from this one, because it's definitely the point that I care least about.
Okay.
Okay. So there was a long sequence in that movie which involved Finn and a new character, Rose, who was quite lovely, going off on like a little adventure together to try to, I guess, recruit a dude, and it just like it was ultimately like it reeked of like a make work sequence in a movie where like, oh yeah, we got to go get the code breaker so that we can get back, and then we can teleport into the ship so we can hack the code so we can make him stop tracking us through hyperspace. And like I kind of get like later on I kind of understood that the whole point was to sort of like establish a bond between these two characters, because like they are essentially going to be like the love interest, because Rey's too busy being a Jedi.
Jedis can't fuck.
Jedi can't fuck.
Poe is too busy loving his droid.
Yeah, Poe and BB-8 have their own thing. I don't want to introduce a triangle. But like ultimately, did we really learn that much about Rose other than she misses her sister?
And I want to talk about this because this is something interesting. I ended up watching this movie twice. Not because I liked it, because two separate groups of people asked if I would go. Right?
Sometimes
and I liked it enough to see it a second time. Right? So on the second viewing, what I realized is the reason why it feels like that is because Laura Dern was right the entire time, and literally everything they do was a mistake.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if Poe didn't, like, cause him to go down to get the code breaker, blah, 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 whatever, like, literally nothing would have changed except for a lot more people would have survived on the shuttle fleet thing.
It's one of the things I liked about this film is it's very much a subversion of everything other Star Wars have been. I got a bunch of notes here that I will eventually go through. Not a bunch, more like 7 or 8. And one of them is basically like, this movie hates the fans, and so do I, so I appreciated that. Because everything about old Star Wars films have been, to some degree, especially the original ones, something of a hero's journey. Young farm boy has plucked out from obscurity, becomes the important hero everyone needs, saves the Empire. This movie has a half dozen attempts where people are trying to be that, and every single time it's realized and basically explicitly said by the film, no, what you're doing is stupid and you're wrong and you're getting people fucking killed.
Yeah, listen to the old people.
It happens very explicitly with Poe twice. It happens very explicitly with Finn, and I don't know, I appreciated that. I appreciated this more collectivist idea as to like what good ideas are, as opposed to just let the Force guide Luke to blow everything up on his own.
Yeah, there's also an interesting story with Rose and Finn in the, like, her being in love with him kind of does come out of nowhere. But if you look at, like, her infatuation with him to begin with, them having that, like, pseudo-romantic horse ride, and, like, her entire deal being, like, don't fight the things you hate, save the things that you love. Like, all of that comes from her character always portrays that. She like says, man, I hate this place, but her like ultimate goal is to save the things that are being abused, including that kid at the very end who apparently has Force powers, which is kind of dope.
The thing I enjoyed about the whole, was it Canto Bite? Like the horrible,
the casino planet.
Cenobites. Hell world.
Yeah, the 1% planet. I appreciated the fact that it was a very overt just eat the rich type scene, which was pretty good. I also found it really funny that they went there to a place that obviously had a lot of slave children, saved about a half dozen like cute dog puppy monsters, and then Rose looks at Finn and says, "It was all worth it." Yeah. I really like that. That was a pretty good moment.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
My only problem, so like they go off to find the code breaker to hack into the Snoke's lab. Then they have a problem getting a message out to rebellions. Why didn't they just sneak out to go tell other rebels to come help them?
Yeah, like it seems like in the middle of this like very
that's like shrugging is my thing as well.
In this very like I get that like they're being pursued by not the Empire anymore. They're the First Order. Yeah,
New Order.
Yeah, they're being pursued by the bad guys, and it's supposed to be this tense. Like they're on the clock. Like they have like hours to survive. But at the same time, they seem to have no problem just like gallivanting around the universe to like collect dudes.
They definitely were under the gun. Maybe Centobite is pretty close to where they were.
I mean, you could arm wave and say Star Wars physics enough to get two people anywhere in the universe and back.
It also comes down to like, how did Luke get to Dagobah and back before Han was sold off? That kind of like dealio.
It just seemed to me like that whole sequence where they go to that planet was very like, it took away from like the momentum of the movie. Like the movie would sort of like build up like a lot of tension with what's happening in like the pursuit. It would like build up a bit of intrigue what's happening with Rey and Luke Skywalker, and then all of a sudden you'd go to this like weird zany planet with all these like caricatures of rich
and shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I thought
you need a cantina in all of the Star Wars movie, obviously.
I think that sequence went on for like really long, and it kind of did. I just thought that it took a lot out. It took a lot of momentum away from that movie. Like I would almost. I don't know. Actually, no. I don't want to compare it to anything from Suicide Squad because that's objectively like a worse movie, and almost every scene is comparably worse. But like, there's that moment where like they had a lot of momentum going because they just like beaten one of the bad guys, and then they just like have like a very awkward bar scene, which is like supposed to be for like cringe chuckles, I guess. But it just took everything.
Which bar scene?
When like in
when they gave up in Suicide Squad and they all had drinks and then
sorry, I thought you were talking
no
about...
I'm just comparing I'm comparing a bit to that scene, but that's not a fair comparison because like the Star Wars, like the scenes at least were individually, the scenes were good. Like I can like, as much as I dislike that movie as a whole, I think that every scene was very good on its own. And I think that if you watch like a bunch of YouTube clips of like that movie, because like some movies will like parse their clips out on YouTube, I would have been like, yeah, this scene's awesome. Yeah, this scene's awesome. Like there are a lot of really well done scenes. I just think that as a movie, the way they were stitched together could have been done much better. Which brings me to the final thing, and then I'll let you guys fully launch into it, and I will just summarize it within one sentence that when you have a movie...
Porks need to be racist.
Yeah. Porks?
Orcs?
I said porks.
I thought you said
porks need to be racist.
Yeah. Porks need to be racist.
They meet Finn for the first time and they start pecking his face.
Yeah.
So when you have a movie which builds up to and spends like a lot of time setting up its inevitable like dramatic confrontation and climax, and then it has that dramatic confrontation and climax, and then 45 minutes later you're still watching the same movie, and then like all of a sudden there's another dramatic confrontation
then
slash
you're watching
climax.
The Two Towers, bitch.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that film, Mike. What are you talking about?
Wait, is Last Jedi the Two Towers of Star Wars?
It absolutely is.
Oh, I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm. You're asking a lot for the audience to still be in, and I think the problem is like after that dramatic confrontation, I was kind of like in wind down mode watching that movie, and then like when fucking Luke Skywalker shows up on that planet, I was like, oh boy, here it goes. This movie's still on. Anyways, that's my summary. I just think that the pacing and like the way it was put together was very awkward, and it stumbled over itself a lot. I think there was a good movie there. Like there's a good movie in there in that a lot of the scenes were really good and a lot of the ideas were really good. I just think that the overall like storyboard itself like really, really needed a lot of work.
Okay. Things I want to say, some of which are important, some of which are very important. I will speak to first the most important thing. First of all, Snoke's Hugh Hefner leisure suit might be one of the best things I have seen in a Star Wars film, period, ! Bar none.
Him just being like this weird old playboy in his giant Wes Anderson Red Room is amazing.
Fucking lounging. Just like physically and metaphorically lounging this entire film until he gets got. That's great. I loved that. Every bit of it. There's a scene near the beginning, and this is something that someone else said in a thing I watched on YouTube, so I can't take credit for this bit, but I appreciate this. Snoke is tearing Kylo Ren apart, saying, "You fucked up, you failed, some girl beat you, what a dork." And then he says, like, "Get rid of your stupid helmet. I don't know why you have that helmet. I said it was stupid from the beginning." So I really like the idea of one day Kylo Ren just showing up to work wearing a stupid fucking helmet and expecting everyone to take it seriously. I really enjoy that skit.
Do you think Snoke is like the condensing of the comment section of like every nerd blog after The Force Awakens?
I think Snoke is Rian Johnson telling J.J. Abrams, what the fuck were you thinking? That helmet looks stupid. Put a scar on him, it'll look badass, and then take off his shirt. He looks like a giant totem.
The thing I appreciate about this film is it became apparent, and it is very obvious, that at the end of the J.J. Abrams Force Awakens, they didn't have a guideline or a Bible as to where this trilogy was going to go. They had this film done, there were some interesting hooks, but they didn't know how those hooks were going to end, what was going to happen to them. It was open to whoever came next. And then Rian Johnson came next, and he said, fuck all this, I got my own thing I want to do. So he basically just took all of those plot hooks and narrative ideas and obliterated them. And I appreciated that. I don't necessarily care who the fuck Snoke is. I know everyone else on the internet seems to, and they got very upset that Snoke's dead, so who cares who he was. I appreciate the fact that Rey's parents are ostensibly fucking nobodies. I like that. I'm really happy we're not spending a bunch of time finding out that she's the weird genetic clone of Han and Luke at the same time or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
That was actually the single best moment of the movie for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think like that action scene is one of the best action scenes in Star Wars. That moment where Ren and Rey are looking at each other and having their like weird heart to heart, and Ren's just like, no, your parents were just drunks and they sold you for booze. Like, that's a great moment. The thing I would say is I actually think this series would be far more interesting if the people writing this, if Rian Johnson had just gone full self-destruct and had Rey join Ren. I think this movie would have been a much better film.
Only if Kylo Ren wasn't like, because Kylo Ren's whole deal was like, fuck the old guard, we're gonna start over new. But then he immediately goes like, become my Padawan and I'll be your Sith master.
I think there are moments it did feel a bit of a tug war. Like there was definitely the tug, like, no, this is Empire Strikes Back. Like you had to have felt that a lot of times through that movie. Like there was that tug from some of the staff that were like, no, this is our Empire Strikes Back. Like there has to be the scene where she goes into the cave. There has to be like the thing where like there's a dramatic, I don't know.
To some extent, yeah, but the thing I appreciate about Last Jedi is they blur the obvious good guy, obvious bad guy tropes. That like Rey is ostensibly the light side hero in this, but there are enough scenes that make you think that she could turn. And obviously Ben, Kylo Ren, whatever he's being called, is the titular villain, but there's enough moments that make you think he can be turned to the good side. I appreciate the idea that it's not... The thing I hate about fucking Star Wars so much is the fact that it's always just obvious good guys and obvious bad guys.
Have you played KOTOR 2?
Yeah, and they're both so dogmatic in their bullshit. Yeah,
KOTOR 2 covers like the whole, why the fuck is it binary, you idiots?
I think that Ben is probably the best villain in Star Wars. Like, I mean, Star Wars doesn't have great... He's not like he has, like, a lot to compare to, but he's the best villain. He's one of the best characters.
Darth Maul is the best villain. So much depth.
I don't know. I just, like, he actually has, like, character traits other than, like, he a bad guy, which is Snoke's only fucking thing.
I mean, Kylo Ren is great because Kylo Ren kind of sucks. It's because Kylo Ren is kind of just emo wannabe Vader, which very much speaks to the time.
He's kind of like the good version of what Anakin should have been. Like, obviously conflicted, wanting to do the wrong thing, probably right thing for Anakin. But, like, it's not conflict in, like, I want to kill everyone and save my wife. It's like, maybe there is good in me, but being evil feels so good. I love it. Like, I think he kind of represents, like, the conflict that does exist in Sith, which is really interesting.
I don't know, like he's a good character in that he has it's very unsure of like which like you don't know the approach that he's gonna take in a lot of scenes. You know that he's not you're not like he doesn't telegraph what he's gonna do in every scene, which is like a good trait that a villain has.
Yeah, the Rey and Ren stuff is I would think the best part of the film. I don't know, like I liked this film when I compare it to other Star Wars films. I don't necessarily think it's a great film. Like there are plot holes you could drive a light speed ship through to crash through other things. Yeah,
only if you're distracted.
Yeah,
by
but like
things.
at the end of the day, like I'm okay with it because I was entertained for the entire thing. And Star Wars is a dumb series made for babies, and as a dumb man baby, I get that it's partially for me, but it's like people who expected deep through lines and everything.
People aren't allowed to enjoy it anymore.
Well,
yeah.
Damn it.
WOCs only.
Oh man,
You're the white cuckball.
What if I colored my hair a color?
Do that. Yeah. It's worked out for me pretty well.
Would I be allowed to like the film again if I colored my hair like deep red?
Dude, and obviously, Mike, you are not one of these people. I have not been paying a lot of attention because I've been busy and I have shit in my real life.
You're an adult. I understand.
I'm an adult. Are people more mad about this movie or the first one?
This movie.
Hardcore.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, no,
I'm not mad about it for the same reason.
That's why I said
you're a racist and a sexist, and we're going to kick you off the podcast.
Explicitly excluded you from this.
Okay, thank you.
And I know that I know that people are angry about this, and it's funny to me, but not in a way where I'm actually going to look at any of it or give a shit at all.
As you should. I fell down a weird YouTube hole about a week and a half ago where I watched 15 minutes of Ben Shapiro just squeaking about how much he hated this film, which made me feel good, in all honesty.
How many movies do you think Ben Shapiro actually watches?
A lot. He's a dork.
I think he just watched Stuart Little over and over again.
When
fucking mouse-looking bitch.
When Dave and I were walking back after watching the movie, we were like talking about like not really understanding what people didn't like. Like I knew the obvious, like, oh, there's no white good people. Luke's an asshole, or Luke's a bitch. People called him a bitch a lot.
Everyone's BB-8.
Everyone's an SJW and shit like that. But I was like, I don't genuinely know what people's problems are. So when I got into my house, I just said, hey, Google, play Last Jedi Sucks review. And this like video started playing of two Irish guys like doing the thing where they're like, this is exactly the reason, to the point, factually, why this show sucks. And like, it was all things that we were doing, the like, well, you guys are wrong. You guys are wrong there. You guys are wrong there. And it just kind of seems like they were holding on to, well, it wasn't the one that I liked. It wasn't the original 3. It didn't have the things that I wanted in it. It was
did have a shot-for-shot remake of one of the scenes from Return of the Jedi, which, like, I thought was, like, it made me feel like a visceral reaction to seeing that, like, shot-for-shot remake of the Millennium Falcon flying out of the Death Star. Like, that was like, well, then when I was like almost fully out of the movie, that kind of brought me back in.
I mean, my favorite was when Kylo Ren spun his ship, because that's a neat trick. Which was, I had to find on trivia that was what they were doing. They were paying homage to when Anakin spun the ship around in the first, in part 1.
Cool. Some further things I kind of just want to bring up. Like, things I didn't really like is I feel like John Boyega isn't utilized all that well in this film. He starts out like he's introduced as a pratfall, and he never really gains any sort of seriousness back. Like I know in Force Awakens he was kind of seen as like a bit of a rogue, a bit of a guy like Three Stooges kind of falling around once in a while, but he had actual heroic moments, and he seems like he did a thing. In this movie, it's literally like he's a half step away from tripping over his own dick the entire film, and everything he does is like a woo 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 woo.
Yeah.
They Homer Simpsoned him.
Yeah, they Homer Simpsoned him like a little bit too hard for my liking. Because I like John Boyega as an actor a lot.
Yeah. It was kind of an establishing thing for him being more than just ex-stormtrooper. It gave him that, like, he's got like a pseudo relationship now. He kind of cares about his life a little bit more. He's like way embedded now. I feel like it's kind of a bridge movie for him. They probably had too many characters and didn't know what to do with them.
I don't. So I'm going to defend that whole Casino Planet thing, and I know that that's probably the weakest part of the film.
I liked it.
What's cool about it is you get an idea of like what the rest of the galaxy in Star Wars is like when it's not just like Rebels and Empire, where it's just like there's a whole bunch of people who are just like making money off this and like don't give a fuck, and it's like that's cool. Like I like
that. Seems real. That seems very 21st century.
That is actually probably one of the very few scenes in that entire franchise that does do that.
And that was like I appreciated that. Maybe it went on a little bit long. I don't know. The chase or whatever is not great. The Benicio del Toro is kind of fun.
He's kind of a fun character. I don't really know why he's there the entire time.
I think he may appear in the next one.
What? No.
Probably.
I don't think so.
That's the problem with, middle chapter movies, right?
Well, I mean, on that
you have to introduce a lot of threats.
True, but on that same note, like, are we ever going to see Phasma again?
I think so.
I think. Sorry, no.
I mean, I hope so. But
I don't know, man. Like that whole like rivalry felt so forced. Like I don't know. It was uncomfortable. That fight scene.
Let me tell you about a little character called Boba Fett.
Yeah,
who does basically nothing.
I did not get into the. I do not fucking understand the Boba
do not
Fett.
Fuck with
like
Boba Fett either.
Hard on for Boba Fett that everybody in the world has.
I figured that Rian Johnson Sarlacc pit her early so that JJ has the opportunity to do something with her in the next film.
Wait, so JJ Abrams?
He's the next one.
What?
Actually? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
okay. That'll be.
So if you guys are like, yeah, jerking off to Force Awakens, and then you're like,
don't get, like,
Last Jedi had too many fucking SJWs.
What's the point? What's the point of having like rival directors like alternate?
Well, I don't know. They gave Rian Johnson a trilogy.
They should give it to Sargon of Akkad next.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he would get it back to traditional.
I want to see like the pure white ethno-state version of Star Wars.
Turns out the First Order is good, guys.
Did you ever actually think about what the First Order has going on for them?
They bring jobs to the Empire, okay?
I think, honestly, it was probably just like give them a lot of wiggle room to do stuff for their movies. So don't do JJ doing 3 movies in 6 years. Do JJ doing 2 movies in 6 years. Rather, like, I think that's probably why.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even matter because the best Star Wars film of all time, Young Han Solo's coming out in a year. And this year,
so
it's coming out calendar 2018. Set your clocks for it. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be so good.
I'm so excited for the Lando Han sex scene when they finally just say "fuck it," they're bi.
And Han is like another one of those, like, it's on like borderline on like the Boba Fett thing. Like, I mean, I get that he's a cool dude, but like the level of infatuation that people have with that character is like a little.
I don't know.
It's troublesome.
If you can't like Han in Star Wars, who can
Well,
you
I like him, but like
At
I don't.
least he's a primary character, not just a guy who shows up.
Yeah, he
in,
shows
like,
up for
3
one
scenes.
fucking scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw like some guy like write a fucking thesis on like what makes Boba Fett the best, and like.
People have a lot of time on their hands.
If it
these
goes
days.
into the
unemployment
EU
is rampant.
if it goes into the EU, then he's already failed.
Hmm.
Do
Oh,
you have any more?
Universe.
Do you have any more,
I
Norris?
thought he meant European Union,
Yeah, I was thinking European.
which will be in the Sargon of Akkad remake.
Yeah, they are the true villain.
Yeah.
The only other
It's
things I got here
regulation.
is the movie would have been a lot more simple if Holdo, the SJW, Laura Dern, if she just let everyone know what she was doing. I can't really see a reason why she didn't, but maybe they say there's a reason I wasn't paying attention, why she didn't just say, no, we got a plan. We're going to a planet. It's not just trust in the Force or trust in anything, because you're obviously going to do some shit, Poe. So don't do that. Instead, let's do this plan that I got that'll be fine. It'll be fine now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was like to build tension within the ship and like to build that like sense of conflict.
Yeah, as a movie, it was good antagonist, but also I think she might have told her inner circle and just
Spies.
it was a need to know.
I guess, but it was so obvious from like the very from the intro when you have that battle scene and Poe's like, we won, and Leia's
Nobody
like,
cares.
you really didn't. You fucked up. From that moment on, I was just like, okay. As soon as Poe has this antagonism with Holdo's going to be in the right. She's not going to be a villain in any of this.
That was kind of cool that they like. I felt that Poe was a bit too like overpowered the first movie. Like it's like felt like everything he did was like he was like the paladin where like nothing could go wrong and he would just like storm in and just take on and it was cool that like he tried that thing in the second movie and then he just got immediately shut down and was essentially relegated to like yelling at a wall for the rest of the movie, which is like he's a good actor, so he did it well, but like I liked what they did with his character. Like they kind of made him like not so infallible anymore.
I also like that his rank clearly went up because like in the first one he was a spy that goes off and gives a message to one of the I think he was a Jedi, the old dude. And then like Leia probably didn't really know about him too well. And then now that like so many rebels are dying off, she's kind of like left with Poe.
Well, yeah, because it's like apparently at the end of that film, the entire Rebel Alliance is like a large office party at best.
It's basically the cast of The Office.
Essentially. Last thing I just want to say is I really appreciated the fact that Luke Skywalker was just a bitter old radical anarchist. I like that. Just someone who was just so pissed off with everything. He had his leftist socialist views that he tried to put forward. No one believed him, so he went crazy and just hid out on an island drinking blue cum for the rest of his life.
Hanging out with his green buddy.
I mean, that is pretty much like the dream of the left, and I can get behind that. just to disappear.
Yeah.
Keep your virility.
Yeah. And have a whole race of people that can just
look after
tend
you
to everything that you do for no reason.
Like when nobody's watching you, it's okay to have another race just be subservient to you.
Yeah,
basically. I had a bunch of points, but I chose to just pick one because I think it's in my view, it's the best like narrative outcome of this entire movie. And it's also the thing that a lot of people seem the most like aggravated about. And it's a lot of people said there wasn't enough payoff from a lot of the story points that came up in the first one.
That's the thing I liked the most about it, honestly.
Yeah. So people were like, no, they never explain who Snoke is.
Good.
They fuck off with Rey's parents.
Good.
Yeah.
Luke is a dick.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
But these are the kind of themes that I really like because it's almost like they're killing off the old guard.
Yeah, no, fucking kill your gods. I like exactly what Ren says at some point in time. He's just like, fucking burn the past, murder it.
Yeah.
Fucking fuck it to the ground. Let's do this. Something new. I really liked that.
And like all of the people involved in those three threads are like things that were well established in the prequels and the originals. Like Snoke represented old raggedy Sith Lord teaching his apprentice to be a Sith and how to be evil, but his arrogance ultimately was the thing that killed him, and he was killed by a millennial. Rey kind of represents the idea that you must come from a notable lineage. Like all the great Jedi were Skywalkers, Kenobis.
Yeah, like even though, you found out like Luke, you think he starts like from humble beginnings. It turns out his dad was like the greatest Jedi of all time.
It's like you have to be like from one of the main 3 characters from the original series, or you're nothing. And it's like, no, your parents were just drug addicts who wanted more money.
Fuck the aristocracy.
No, I did like that, how like everybody, like the massive amount of speculation on like who is Rey, like, oh, so is she Luke's clone? No, she has to be like this character's like descendant. And I loved how it's like, no, you're nobody.
And
like,
it also kind of like feeds into the idea that like anybody can do it. Like that kid at the end who pulls the broom, like he's not a trained Jedi or anything, but he clearly just knows, hey, I can pull a broom.
There's more so even than a message in this film, there is a moral, which is very obvious and something that you can drive a fucking truck through, but it's this sort of feel-good kind of children's movie message where, like anyone can be anyone kind of thing, which, again, like past films in Star Wars haven't really done that as much because all the main characters have to some degree been something of mythical importance and had some sort of like mysterious past or mysterious sort of thing that makes them special. And like Rey, up until she gets into this, like she wasn't special. She's not, and like she's just like a character that comes into it. Like I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I like that.
And even in a contained, because people were like, oh, they brought this question up in one. It's like, or in Force Awakens, it's like, no, that was a huge thread in this movie as well. She was constantly like, who are my parents? Where are my parents? I love my parents, and then it's like, no, your parents were nothing, you stupid child. And that kind of like was her turning point as well to like say, okay, I'm done with this thread. I'm gonna go hang out with the
not only
rebels.
were they nothing, they were kind of like bad people.
Yeah, exactly. And then the whole Luke being a little bitch asshole is like also like he's the only one of the old guard that kind of realizes that the old guard is dumb. Like the Order was stupid, and like they basically created all of this shit.
No, I don't even necessarily think that Luke was a big old baby bitch. I actually appreciate the fact
I don't think he is either.
He was the one that wanted to fucking break the wheel. He was the one that said this whole light side dark side thing is stupid.
Luke did not have like the indoctrination that any Jedi before had. He had like an hour and a half of training with Yoda, and then he's like, all right, I now pronounce a Jedi. There's Vader, get him.
I forgot about this. Best part of the entire film. Puppet Yoda. Done.
Yeah.
Right
Yes.
there.
No,
They
exactly.
fucking brought back Puppet Yoda.
So good.
So good. Man, it was so good.
But like Luke was the polar opposite of Snoke, because when he was met with his ultimate arrogance, he quit. And he was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. It's dumb. And it was only once he was like, okay, well, the Order's over. Rey clearly represents something that isn't the Order. I'm going to use the rest of my Force powers to save her by projecting myself and slapping around my nephew a little bit so they can escape. And then he disappears. So both Snoke and Luke, who represented like both sides of the old guard coin, disappear in like the quintessential way that a Sith and a Jedi would disappear. Chaos and peace, basically. And like everyone's like, oh, it's such a bad payoff that like Snoke wasn't fucking Jar Jar and Luke wasn't a huge badass and Rey's parents weren't fucking Ben Kenobi and shit like that. But like the payoff in terms of a film were really good and had really good messages behind them about like burn your heroes and start anew.
Kill your gods.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been saying it for a while now, and I appreciate The Last Jedi agrees with me.
And also, like, when is explaining anything in Star Wars ever worked out? The Force is a mysterious thing, and then being explained as midichlorians. Is that something you enjoyed, you Star Wars nerds?
I love how they've just ignored that ever since.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever since one conversation in the first movie, episode 1 or whatever the fuck. It's just, that's not how it works anymore. Retcon. We can't retcon it because it's in the fucking film, but we can try as hard as we can to pretend it is.
I like the idea that Ben just made that up to explain to Anakin's mom. No, he's got juice inside of him. He's a hero. And then after that, they just left
the juice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like we've got everything we need to say about Star Wars out. I feel like we have
and then some.
We've talked like everyone else on the internet. We have talked into them all, and we have still found it wanting.
Let me tell you about a movie called Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. I'm intrigued for this.
It stars Vince Vaughn. I named it as my #1 action movie of the year. I'm revising that to #1 movie of the year.
Nice.
Actually,
could be. When I look back at the year in movies, I have seen many movies. There's only one, though. There's only one that involves Vince Vaughn stomping someone's face, like clear right off. So
That's why.
So that's all you need to make a good movie?
I mean, the idea of...
well, it's the build up to that face stomping.
Oh, okay.
The idea of an angry, shaven-headed Vince Vaughn just cracking a man's skull like so much porcelain does actually kind of interest me.
I wish we could analyze that movie with the depth that we analyzed the Star Wars movie. I think it's great.
That's not the way these things work, Matt. I'm so
know.
sorry.
I know I can't get everything I want in this world. But I would really, really like for at least one of you to watch this goddamn movie.
I mean, Matt, if you wanna set up like a movie date, I would be there in a second.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Matt, did you have Baby Driver on your top 5 list?
I did not.
Okay, because I remember you mentioned it earlier
It was
this
alright.
year. Yeah, I saw it yesterday. Not yesterday, on the weekend, a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good.
Yeah.
And all I can remember is like that Dave seemed to really not like it.
The only thing I
Dave
know
doesn't
about
like fun things, so.
the only
This
thing,
is true.
the only thing I know about that movie is that Run the Jewels have a music video regarding it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
like
pretty cool.
Everything kind of popular seemed to revolve around Baby Driver soon after.
what I
And
want-
Run the Jewels.
What I want to say to Dave is that, Dave, I know that you're working on this right now, but when you get your driver's license,
You're gonna rob a bank.
Damn!
when you buy your first car, when you finally take that baby out for a spin, then I want you to watch Baby Driver again, and then I want you to tell me what you think about Baby Driver.
Oh, is it like? Is that like before the podcast we were talking about The Exorcist, and Emery was like, "You can only really enjoy that if you're Catholic.
Yeah.
Can you only enjoy Baby Driver if you're driver?"
I barely
the thing
drive,
about-
and I still like
the
that
thing
movie.
about Baby Driver. I mean, no, it didn't really have to do like a lot. It didn't really like reach me, my inner driver. But on that note, I like Baby Driver a lot. I think that if I saw Baby Driver when I was like 19 and like had just gotten my driver's license, I would have lost my shit over that movie.
He would have gotten into a head-on collision.
Yeah.
Like I would have died. Like, it basically is like the fantasy of like a teenage boy
Hell
who
yeah.
just learned how to drive, and it was so unapologetic about it being that fantasy that's I don't know. It was good. We've already talked a lot about it.
This is like how when I was 16, I saw the movie SWAT, and for the next year, I wanted to be a cop. To the point where I went into an RCMP youth academy.
Oh,
God.
my
Yeah.
God.
We all make mistakes when we're children.
Yeah.
I unironically thought that Baby Driver was a prequel to Drive.
Nice.
I thought it was like Drive.
Well,
Rising.
I haven't seen Baby Driver, so I can't. But like from what I've seen, that seems
Something happened and then he just became serious.
I like Baby Driver a lot more than I like Drive, just because I thought the protagonist had a lot more character than like I thought. Shit, what's that kid's name?
yeah, because Ryan Gosling in Drive
Baby.
is just
Baby.
yeah, his
Baby.
name is Baby.
Yeah,
He's the driver.
I thought that Baby. Yeah, I thought that Baby had a lot more character than the kid.
Is he actually called the kid in Drive?
In Drive, he's the kid, and
that really connects to my theory that they're all the same.
Yeah.
I think your theory is an alternate universe conversation, which is going to be stricken
Is there an
from-
adult? I've never seen Crash. Is the name of the character in that adult? The adult?
it's Babay actually. Yeah, so there
So
might
it goes
actually be
back.
something. Yeah, exactly. It's all one expanded universe, one together.
The name of the character in Crash is Blackie, and then for some reason, that is
Is that the name of the fucking character in
No,
Crash?
I can't remember. I remember watching that movie and being like, "Hey, this is kind of racist, actually." And then it winning an Academy Award and going like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
That's what everyone else did. Yeah, I could see them having the main character named Blackie White or something in that fucking film.
Because, oh man,
Listen, I'm going to say it right now. Bright is the actual spiritual sequel to Crash. Okay, because they're both basically about the same thing.
I still need to watch that.
I would like to.
Do you guys want to talk about another SJW space thing?
Always and forever.
I mean, we're already here, so
So we
Gotta take him down a peg, Kelly.
so we finally got Andromeda from Carter, who
Friend of the podcast
and Marathon Carter. And we've been asking him to do it for a while because Shar and I like kind of bonded over Mass Effect because I tested 3 and she loved the whole entire series.
And I mean, boy works at BioWare, so I'm sure he's just got like
we're allowed to
boxes
say
and
that.
boxes of it.
They give them.
He said it. He has said it in things that we've had him on. It's fine.
Like some companies give out stock to their employees instead of the EA just gives you like boxes and boxes of Andromeda.
More like when the butler's in the bathroom handing you a towel. It's also got Andromeda on it.
It's just it's cheaper. It's cheaper than paper towels now.
Yeah. So Char started playing through it because I want to experience it through her first because I know that I'm too jaded.
Gonna be different.
So she's really enjoying it, and I've been holding my tongue anytime something that is clearly bad happens. And so she loves it.
How often is this happening for you?
And what do you mean by bad? Just like poor game design?
I will bring it up. But Char's enjoying it. She thinks that the construction of weapons is a little too complicated. It's more like Inquisition, but she likes exploring. She likes the conversation. She likes the quest. It's great for her. And then I turn off the lights, go into the basement, and start booting up my version of the game. Uh-oh. And that thing feels like it is tearing itself apart at the seams. I feel like I have to treat it like a small baby bird with a broken wing, or it will break.
Yeah, that's because it's a fucking fire pile. It's a trash heap. It's the Simpsons. It's the Springfield tire fire.
It was born too soon, and they had to put it in a little incubator where you weren't allowed to say mean things about it. And
his thumbs didn't fully grow.
And then it grew into an adult, and you're still not allowed to make fun of it.
It's a wealthy only child with a minor disability. It doesn't even know that it's broken, but it will break at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Wow, oddly specific.
Yep.
Who are you talking about?
I don't even know, but that felt right.
Bill Gates.
So the combat is really good. I will say that. Mobility, huge improvement. I said this when Mass 3 came out and I was testing. I was like, adding combat roll to a game like this makes it infinitely better. Adding jetpacks and booster dodges to a game makes it fucking great. But that's all I want to do. I want to keep fighting in single player specifically because the multiplayer's netcode sucks and it's really laggy and you keep trying to jump over walls and getting caught on them and shit like that. So I very specifically want to get in firefights in the single player, but there's all this story around it with bad animation, bad pathing, weird design decisions on characters. Like, everyone didn't like the SJW element. I don't agree with that, but I do agree that there's no diversity. There's no diversity in the characters. There's diversity in the sense that everyone is a person of color, everyone's quirky, everyone is kind of bi, everyone makes like comments about shit like that, but there's no other archetypes.
There's no like actual characters there. There's no meat to the historical bones.
Yeah, and like I agree, don't make the main character a grizzled old white dude, that's fine. But maybe have a grizzled old white dude, maybe have a cynical asshole, maybe have like even the old Krogan, who's a war criminal / like old guard guy, still cooks, still jokes around with his granddaughter, and I'm like, okay.
No one wants to see that shit.
Yeah. And it's like
they got like 6 testicles.
I guess. And it's not like saying
all Krogans are criminals. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not saying that like we as a like grizzled asshole or we as like a altruistic, like even the altruistic bright people get pulled down to snarky millennial. Like everyone's a snarky millennial in this game.
It's because I feel like this game was done by entirely snarky millennials.
Yeah. They never watched a movie where anyone else was anything else. And like, I'm fine that we're not being represented anymore, which is great. Stop representing us.
Kelly, you say that as though you're not the snarky millennial.
No, I mean us as like white dudes.
Yeah, Kelly, I got bad news about you and snarky millennials.
No, keep representing the snarky millennials. I'm cool with that, but like,
could I like be any more of a snarky millennial? That's you as Chandler.
Yeah, exactly. Counter that with the dad who doesn't understand memes and is just
you need the clueless dad a little bit.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. For a long time, BioWare has been on the tip of the spear of diversity in their games. They started that gangster shit, and people are kind of following suit, which is good. But yeah, if all they're doing is just sort of like the same archetype, albeit different colors and genders, that like there's a point that's kind of being missed at somewhere in there.
Everyone's fucking Juno.
Yeah, I don't want that. I really.
Remember in Fallout 2 where you would arm wrestle a super mutant, and then if you lost, he would like have sex with you, and you get a ball gag.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Remember, if you had a low enough charisma and you went to New Reno or whatever, you could get a job as a fluffer, and you would have to take toxic damage every time you made a little bit of money.
Remember the robot? Yeah. Remember Fisto when you turned him on and he would drill you in the ass with his giant fist arm?
Man.
Remember the underground bare knuckle boxing ring?
Oh, yeah.
Fallout 2 might be the best game ever made.
It's so good.
Fuck.
It's so good.
Mine was Fallout 3. But anyways, besides the like weird fluffy feeling about the entire game, all the problems that and this sounds bad, every problem that I found and wrote as a bug exists again because they used to use Unreal Engine 2.5 or something. The same
and
one.
This is the first time on Frostbite, which didn't seem to work very well.
But it seems like they've slapped Mass Effect onto Inquisition, but also broke Inquisition a little bit, and then didn't decide to fix it or didn't have the time. I understand developing, blah blah blah, whatever. But don't ship your fucking broken ass game if it's going to be shitty like this.
Yeah, like from everything I have heard and everything I've read about the development of Andromeda it was a newer team that hadn't really had experience working with this engine on this IP, et cetera, and just I think everyone knew that what was going to happen when they released that game in the tire fire state that it was. But it's just at the end of the day, the business team says that you ship it Q1,
which is fair if the company might have a problem coming up soon, but like I don't know. And they even patched a lot of the glaring problems, like dumb face animations and running leg syndrome, like with those sloppy legs. That's what the sloppy.
Everyone's doing the old stanky leg.
It does feel like that's all they fixed, and then there's still the corner sides where you're just like I keep trying to focus on the story, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy it. And then, like, out of the corner of my eyes, everyone's slipping around trying to get back to their starting points.
I fucking love that idea. As soon as you get into a cutscene, all the NPCs realize it, and it's just like the bad community theater moment where all the actors are just trying to run back into their spots.
Basically what it is.
That fucking rules. Actually, I want games to do that more.
Except if they just slip around without moving.
Even better.
It's just like little things that like could have been fixed that make the world feels broken. It feels like when I try to get invested in the story, to get in the magic circle, I'm supposed to assume that the world is broken. That like animations in the future are broken. People's arms no longer work.
That's just how the future people are.
I mean, they were in cryo sleep for like a couple hundred years. Yeah. Maybe it just broke their faces and their brains a little bit.
The hibernation sickness, that's a Star Wars thing.
Maybe. And then so there's I'll do my one last one. And it's a bit spoiler, so anyone who's listening who hasn't played it, play it.
The series is ruined for me.
Who here liked 2? Because I feel like 2 is probably...
I like 2 a lot.
What do you mean, who like... Everyone
like generation.
Perfect. So, you remember in 2, the whole build-up was we can't get to the collector ship because it's surrounded by space goop or shit like that. Mm-hmm. We need to upgrade the Normandy so we can cut through that space goop.
Hell yeah.
That moment was great because the entire story leads up to that moment. It's so dramatic. It's kind of jank because it's trying to connect like 4 or 5 different cutscenes together. But that moment was awesome. In 5 hours into this game of doing the main storyline, there's a moment like that where you pop out of hyperdrive and the big bad ship is there, who by the way looks like an adorable little puppy and is not terrifying at all. His ship comes up and it kind of makes it look like you're gonna do what's that guy from Star Trek that he shouts to this guy?
Khan.
It seems like there's going to be a Khan moment where he pops up on the screen. You have to have like a really important conversation with him. Meanwhile, your AI is like, hey, I almost have control of the ship. 2 seconds later, he's like, I got it. And then they jettison out into the surge or the purge or the
Curge.
I don't know. The fucking...
The merge.
The space garbage that broke all your planets. And for no reason, Sam's just able to navigate through that no problem, even though that's been a huge like blocking point the entire game. And like all of the tension is lost. And if every like big dramatic moment in this story is going to be lost like that, I have like no... I found the new aliens, and all the women models look terrible. The male ones look great because one of them is your crew member, so they designed him around him. But like now that I've got him, I'm like I think I'm good. Like I'm gonna clean up all these planets and we're gonna live here now. That's the story, I guess.
Sounds like you should stop playing.
Yeah, I might think on that one.
Probably. And I tried so hard to like it, but the combat's so good. I want to keep fighting with the combat, but the multiplayer is broken, which is like the dedicated zone to do combat. Ugh. I want
they fucking killed Mass Effect, which is like actually a capital crime in my book. And in the future, when I run the government, like the business people that decided to kill Mass Effect will get the bullet. So that's some cold comfort at least.
It's like you were handed gold and somehow you turned it into copper.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Copper still has monetary value.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sand.
You can still like conduct things with it.
Don't drag copper into this mess.
Like laundry lint.
Actually, gold's not that expensive anymore, is it?
Bitcoin. They had Bitcoin and they turned it into Dogecoin.
You turned it into Ethereum.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Matt, we never get you on here enough. Is there anything you want to talk about before we cap this off?
No.
You're good?
I'm good. All right. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, all right. That's good too.
Yeah.
Beer will do that, especially like a good, strong IPA.
Wait, so IPA isn't a good starting off beer because you'll be sleepy the rest of the night?
Maybe it's just not a good beer.
Beer is a depressant. So
okay.
All beer is sleepy.
Yeah.
So you need an upper, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
I need poppers.
Just take some whippets and call me in the morning. I am your
I love
doctor.
whippets. The little chocolate things with the marshmallow in the middle.
Close enough.
The very same.
Yep. This is Super Hopped Up, favorite podcast about sound medical advice. I'm your host, Chris Norris-Jones. We are on Stitcher and iTunes, where podcasts are held. We've got a Facebook group. Go ahead and come find us. We have a Twitter at superhoppedup. We have an email, superhoppedup@gmail.com. Ask us your questions. Tell us we suck. Give us your varied opinions about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. We will respond to them in kind. Most importantly, let your friends know about us. Be very appreciative of that. Gentlemen, sitting here. Oh, yeah, shit. No, Kelly, you're here. Do the thing.
And I still don't like that I have to be here to do it. Go.
Eventually, I'll get it. Every time you do this, it comes more into my mind. It becomes recognize, not recall.
Yeah. Wait. I love Recall. Total Recall, right?
Yes.
Anyways.
Oh, the Colin Farrell movie.
Go. We're also on YouTube now, so go to YouTube and look up Super Hopped Up. If we get to 100 subscribers, we can get youtube.com/superhoppedup. So go subscribe to us and watch our Let's Play of The Surge. We also host our podcast here if you just like listening to it on YouTube.
We get 100 subscribers, we'll make Kelly eat a raw onion on film and then we'll put it up.
And do you guys want to talk about a couple upcoming So I don't know, are we live streaming these or are we just going to record and play?
They'll be like, I don't know. We haven't figured out live streaming. It's complicated, but
I've got an idea about
live streaming. No, I know, but I mean,
we figured out how to live stream 151 hours at a time.
How we're going to incorporate that into a franchise. Anyways, we're going to be doing Hidden Agenda, so anyone who likes Until Dawn, I feel like this game kind of snuck under the radar. It's like
I didn't hear about this until you told me about it.
It's like a cop drama version of Until Dawn, so I'm so stoked for that.
Can I play as a cop, a devil may care cop who, damn it, gets results?
We'll see, but the whole concept is that all four of us play at the same time. So I'm really excited. So we're going to record that, and that'll be up. That'll be our next like mini game that comes up. And then Dave and I, who are playing the Surge, we're going to be starting Wolfenstein probably in the next month. So also look forward to that.
Yeah, we got other stuff in the hopper too.
Yeah, we got Dragon Ball FighterZ. We're going to be doing some sort of release day shenanigans for that. I don't exactly know the extent of that, but I know that Dave, Bill, and I are probably going to be there and square on release day.
Yeah. We're figuring there's a lot of releases coming out this year that we're probably going to try to catch on the opening days.
And Matt, sometime this year, I'm going to back you into a corner and chain you to a wall and force you to play like Ocarina of Time or maybe Link to the Past.
Yeah.
I'd jerk off to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have already.
Nice.
Just in my head.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the podcast. We're done now. You can all go home. You guys in the room as well as everyone listening.
Go watch the old Star Wars movies because you apparently like those better.
You're probably an adult. Watch adult films. Don't watch children's films. It's okay. You can expand your horizons.
Go email Hopped Up Gaming or whatever the fuck it's called. Ask me for movie suggestions because I have a million better movies that you could be watching.
This is also true. Vince Vaughn crushes that man's skull like a beautiful egg.
Is there a Raid 3 coming out anytime soon?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a podcast where it's just Matt and I, him liking movies and me liking video games because clearly none of you guys like games anymore.
I like games. I played this game. It had these features. I appreciated these things. I didn't like that thing.
Reading the back of the box, like, rated T for teen.
Oh yes, the Nemesis TM system was a revolutionary.
I just think we need another couple episodes where we talk about ISIS before I can talk about video games again. We just need to go back to that.
Yeah, those are fun ones.
Anyways, we'll talk to you guys again next week. We'll see you again. Peace out. Love your mother.